This is Chris with Dive Zone Scuba for another technical diving tips, techniques, and trips video. This is a quick gear update for August of 2022, and this video is based upon my experiences using gear previously illustrated in other videos on the channel for our trip to Egypt. A quick note on the channel. The channel is now up to 465 subscribers. As I mentioned in a previous video, there will be a 500 subscriber giveaway when that time comes. So stay tuned for the details on the 500 subscriber giveaway. Since I planned on doing a lot of technical diving during this trip, I utilized the two-piece luggage system for carrying on board the diving equipment. This is explained in detail in another video on the channel. And so again, I have the same very small roller bag down here, and then I have the duffel bag here. And this is, of course, the duffel bag that is modified so that the back plate can be mounted on the back. So on this trip to Egypt, we took Turkish Air. That's the airlines we normally take, at least on the way there. And so I was carrying the backpack while I went through the boarding gate process, and I was wheeling my roller on board, and I had absolutely no difficulty at all getting through the system. So on yet another trip, this is maybe the fourth or fifth trip that I've used this system on, I have not had any problems boarding with all my dive gear on. My 5 regulators, computers, and GoPro equipment, including my lights, are all in the roller bag, and then my wetsuit and fins and masks and a few other pieces of diving equipment are in the duffel bag. So even if I lose all my checked luggage, I'm able to use the vast majority of my equipment on the dive site or the dive destination. I used my Saeko Dive dry tube again to hold my glasses during both recreational and technical dives, and I did take this case down to past 300 feet, and to my great surprise, it was completely dry inside when I surfaced. So this is a very robust and good product. I have also taken to putting money inside the tube next to my glasses. A lot of people who you deal with on the boat and so on, diving, giving people tips and things like that, seem to prefer to have dry money. One of the problems that I was having, and I spoke about this in the video where I talk about what to do with your glasses, is the difficulty that I was having trying to locate these tubes and having to use sometimes an alternate tube in order to hold my glasses. But it appears as though that the Trident Diving Manufacturing Company does actually import these Saeko Dive dry boxes or dry tubes from Taiwan, so it looks like they are accessible. Another piece of gear that I used on this trip was my GoPro 9 and my Isotta GoPro 9 housing. On this particular trip, I took the housing down over 300 feet, and I had no problems with the housing at all. For a more detailed video on the housing, you can check the channel. I did mount this on my Goodman handle for the videotaping that I did do during the technical dives, so I was videotaping in a passive mode. On the recreational videos, including the video with the dolphin, I was using it as a standalone camera. So again, the Isotta performed perfectly during the trip, as well as did the GoPro 9. Hopefully when the GoPro 11 comes out, it'll use the same form factor and I'll be able to recycle my camera housing for that GoPro. If not, I'll probably buy another GoPro, but this one will be a 10 instead of an 11 because it's compatible with my housing. I started using the Big Blue VTL8000P as my primary dive light a few months ago, and so I was using it on this last trip. And what I do is I mount this on a Goodman handle. This is actually also made by Big Blue, and it's a quick release type mount that locks in place, and so you can stick that in there and then put the lock down, and I use that as my primary light. As I mentioned in one of the previous videos, I also use the Goodman handle to passively mount my GoPro camera. And so what you do is you put a bolt through the stud in the bottom and you mount the camera like that. So I can actually passively videotape different things during the dive, whether or not I'm actually using the light as well. One of the advantages of this particular light is it has the ability to have both a video beam and also a very tight beam, and of course there are different levels of intensity. So this enables this particular light to be very good for videoing or for videography. At the same time, you can have a tight beam, which is necessary for communication purposes, particularly during technical dives. One of the things that I did for this trip with the Big Blue light was I manufactured a Kydex sleeve, and what this is used for is to protect the light from accidentally going on while it's in your gear bag on the way to the dive site and so on. Not useful for transporting your lights on aircraft. You should really take the battery and put some kind of insulating material over the light so it cannot turn on at all. And I also use this as well. So the way this works is it snaps on over the light body like this and stays in position by virtue of the groove in the bottom. And so while you're storing your light at the dive destination or transportation to the dive site itself, the light cannot be turned on. Here is a picture of the underside where you can see that this cannot move as a result of that. It can't move back and forth or left or right. So this didn't take very long to make, and I'm very happy with the results of the switch protector. This is Chris with Dive Zone Scuba. I hope this video was helpful, and thanks for watching. Please subscribe.